my hands were so tired on the first day, and the only thing I can think of was, how am I supposed to do this for the rest of my life?
In this episode of Original Story, we will be interviewing Dr. Dan Dow, a Canadian-trained chiropractor and managing partner of Restoracare, a multidisciplinary health clinic in downtown Toronto. Dr. Dan has been practicing for many years and has vast clinical experience in both private healthcare and public university health teams. He's ranked #1 for chiropractors in Toronto on RateMD and is an official treating partner of the Toronto Blue Jays. Hi, Dr. Dan. Thanks so much for doing this interview with us.
Yeah.
What did you think you were going to do when you were in high school for your career?
Sure. I mean, in high school, I really thought I was going to become an accountant. I dreamt of going to business school, and dreamt of being on Bay Street and being in a suit, which I think I'm so glad that I'm not doing that. But I got really inspired by accounting teachers, really good accounting teachers in high school. And I thought it would be a nice way to just have a traditional 9-to-5 type of job, and that's what I dreamt of being. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're like a chiropractor now, so how did that happen?
Well, let's say accounting wasn't my forte. It's interesting. I right after high school, I went to Western, and I got into a BMOS program, which is a Bachelor's of Management and Organizational Studies, and it was kind of the stepping stone for me to get into accounting and whatnot, and I really didn't enjoy the program, and I guess I could have definitely fallen through and went on to graduate and do my CPA, but it just wasn't right. Instead, I ended up injuring my shoulder and my back, and I ended up seeing I ended up seeing a lot of providers, healthcare providers, physiotherapists, family doctors, chiropractors, and none really helped me until I met Dr. Kevin McAllister. He's a chiropractor that's still practicing. He's about 70 years old now. He's still practicing, and he really inspired me. He got me really interested. I ended up asking him if I could shadow. I got a lot better. I asked him if I could shadow, and he said no. He said, "What's minimum wage?" And I said, $6.50. And he says, "Sure, let's put you on payroll. How many hours do you want to be working here?" And I said, "Whoa, I can do 10 hours, I guess." So he put me on payroll and gave the front desk my SIN number, and I was employed, and I just shadowed him, and the rest was history. Yeah.
So were you still in university at that point, or?
Yes, yeah, I was in my first semester. So first semester of first year, and I made that switch. So I switched over to health sciences, and I did my 4 years there, and then I ended up going to my Doctor of Chiropractic degree in Toronto. So that was, it all happened just like that, and it happened pretty simultaneously. I never thought that this was my career path, but I love it.
Yeah, and I guess we're now sitting in your office in your clinic, Restoracare. So how did you start your own clinic?
It's not easy it's a complex question, because starting your own clinic didn't take place half a year ago or a year ago. It takes place as soon as you graduate, because the clinic is really an identifying factor of your brand. You start off with 0 patients, and when you have 0 patients, you really have 0 person to care for, and you have really, on a business front, you have 0 person to charge, and I think when you come out like that, there's definitely a feeling of anxiety and nervousness, and will I be able to succeed? And so on my first day, I was very thankful to treat 3 people, 3 patients that day, and they were all my friends. They were all my friends that I reached out to. I said, "Hey, please come and see me," and they came out. They supported me. They said, "Hey, listen, I do have XYZ issues I want to take care of," and they came in, and It's quite, I think back and I thought my hands were so tired on the first day. And the only thing I can think of was, how am I supposed to do this for the rest of my life? Because I couldn't even text, and I wanted to text my mom at the time to say, hey, just finished my first day at the office, and my thumbs were just shaking. And you know, it really puts things into perspective as things go on. You get better, you get stronger at your job, you get you have a better approach. It's a learning curve, and it's and now that we're moving into 2022, we have a full practice, and it is tiring, but it's not the same type of tiring that I remembered coming out of school, and the stresses are different.
There are challenges to every job, definitely some unique challenges to being a chiropractor. So,
sure.
What are some challenges that you face in your field?
I think, and I can speak to chiropractors in general here, is I think that there is a tough, there's a slight stigma that still exists with what chiropractors do, and that will be the toughest thing, I think, as a profession to move forward in trying to educate the public and the individuals out there as to why chiropractic exists and what we get to do for people. I think there's still some confusion of whether is chiropractic related to physiotherapy, or when should I be seeing a chiropractor? How often should I see a chiropractor? Should I take meds and anti-inflammatory and painkillers instead, or should I be seeing a massage therapist? I think the problem as a profession and what we face is trying to really identify one streamlined approach to what we do, and for the public to understand that, you know, when they have XYZ issues, that they should be seeing a chiropractor. Now, for me as an individual, one of the biggest challenges I face is trying to be 100% for every single person that walks through the door. We typically have about 35 appointments a day, and everyone coming in has a different problem. And we're not just talking about a different musculoskeletal problem or an injury. We're talking about someone who is stressed, who's tired, who is a mom who just gave birth, or who just lost their job, or who just got a new job, or they're depressed. And there's so many minds that walk in here, and being able to adapt to each person, that's tough.
Yeah, so you are rated the #1 chiropractor in Toronto. Could you tell us how you became so popular?
You know what? I don't know an answer to that one. That one's a tough one. I don't know when that happened. I guess it's just happening, and it's an ongoing process that people get to write and review their opinion. It takes a lot of commitment to your patients. It takes a lot of time. I put in 60, maybe 70-hour weeks when I first came out to practice, and now I'm still doing a good 50 to 55 hours of practice, plus, you know, the business side of it. And I think, with that being said, I think it takes time. Whatever you put in it, you'll get back. When you put in 100%, you get 100% back, I guess, right? And now, to that being said, the only person that really reads these reviews is my mom. She gave me a call a couple years ago. I think on the website you get to rate on their knowledge and helpfulness, but one of the things that you get to rate them on, or rate the doctors on, is punctuality. And I have to say, I'm pretty punctual for a clinic provider, you know, and someone had given me a 4-star. I didn't know this, but I got a call from my mother, and she goes, "Do you have time to talk?" And I said, "Oh, like, Mom never talks to me. You know, it's like, did you eat yet?" is kind of her conversation, right? And she says, "We have to talk." I said, "Sure, what happened?" And she says, "How come people are rating you so lowly?" And I said, "What did you read?" And she said, "You got only 80% on your score for punctuality? And I thought, 80%. What are you reading? And she told me she's on this website, she's looking at the stars, and someone gave me a 4 out of 5 stars on punctuality. And I asked her to read the review for me, and the review said, something, Dr. Dow has really been helpful for me, and sometimes he's running a little bit late, but I know he would do it for me if I needed help or something like that, right? And I said, well, that's really nice, that's cool. Like a qualitative 5-star actually, and probably a quantitative, obviously 4-star. And she said, wow, how much did I told you how much these things matter. You need an A+ all the time. And yeah, it brings me back to my childhood. Even in your 30s, I guess your mom is still looking at your report card. So that's her way of getting to check out these things.
If you could travel back in time to when you were in high school, what advice would you give yourself?
When I left that business program, I didn't have any science courses at all. I never took biology, I never took chemistry, which you'd think are pretty essential in doing a health science bachelor's, right? So with that being said, I went back, I essentially went back to high school, which was a very difficult thing for me. And I had to go back and pick up my grade 11, 12 bio, chem. I did some at night school, I did some during adult day school. When I had to do that, I realized that back when I was in high school, I was afraid of science. And I was afraid of science because I didn't understand why I was studying for science. I didn't understand science as a whole. And when I say science, I don't mean like astronomy and space science. Those are always fun. But really bio and chem and physics, I couldn't wrap my head around why I was learning that. And so I gave up on it really easily. And one of the things that my parents used to always tell me was, you shouldn't cut things out because that will close your door. And I never took them seriously. I said, well, I don't want that door to be open, so why would I keep that door open? I don't want that door. So just eliminate the door, and then let me just focus on the things that I'm good at. And of course, I'm not really good at accounting, so I wish I really thought that one through, and I closed that door. And you know what I did? I did start in grade 11 bio, and I remember Miss Averill was my bio teacher, and at that time I believe I dropped it and took a spare instead. And I didn't do very well in the course because I didn't understand it. I didn't know why I was doing it. I dropped the course, and Miss Averill told me, she said, you can do this. Like you're a smart guy. You can do this. I know the mark that you see right now doesn't reflect your work, but that's because you're not trying and you're not even attempting to understand these concepts. And I remember I said to her, Miss, I'm so over this. And then I left the course. So, I mean, I left it and I did all these other business math related stuff. I went to my program. I obviously didn't enjoy it, like I said, and then I had to go back and retake these things. And so my high school advice, or my advice to the high school self, or my high school self would be to take on those challenges, and don't shut doors, even if you think that you're not good enough or that it doesn't truly interest you, because you never know. Things are always changing. In high school, things change. In undergrad, things change. I'm still changing now, and your wants and needs change. So just keep the doors open. Don't be afraid of those challenges.
Thanks for watching. Special thanks to Dr. Dan Dow for doing this interview with us and sharing your experiences. Also, thank you to our editor Raymond for putting the video together, and to Mr. Crawford for your guidance and support. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and if you'd like to share your stories, please send me an email. Cheers.